Welcome, and thanks for being here. This is the final chapter of our Scotland journey. The landscapes feel wider, and the Highlands, coastline, and history come together in a way you can feel. We begin in Culross, a preserved village on the Fife coast in Scotland. Culross Palace, built between 1597 and 1611 by Sir George Bruce, was a merchant's house rather than a royal residence. Today, it features restored 17th century interiors and gardens, and was used as a filming location for Outlander. Portknockie is a historic clifftop fishing village in Moray on Scotland's northeastern coast, dating back to 1677 and once a busy herring port. Today it is a quiet coastal community known for its scenic setting and the nearby Fiddle Rock Sea Arch. The village features a 1890s harbour, narrow winds, and an open-air swimming pool, and sits on the Moray coastal path between Cullen and Buckie. The area is popular for coastal walks and wildlife watching, including dolphins and seabirds, with Cullen nearby for food and amenities. Fiddle Rock rises from the sea just off the coast, its elegant arch shaped over millions of years by wind and waves. A short walk from the nearby car park leads to a clifftop viewpoint, where the rock reveals its full sculpted form. For a closer perspective, it can also be reached at low tide by following a descent to the pebble beach below. The path is uneven in places, so sturdy footwear is recommended. Formed from resilient quartzite, part of the Cullen Quartzite Formation, the arch stands as a testament to the slow forces of tectonic movement and coastal erosion. Its name comes from its resemblance to the tip of a violin bow, a fitting image for one of Scotland's most striking coastal landmarks. Callendar House is a historic mansion in Falkirk, originally a 14th century tower house. It hosted figures including Mary, Queen of Scots, Oliver Cromwell, and Bonnie Prince Charlie. Its Georgian kitchen was used in Outlander. Blackness Castle stands on the edge of the Firth of Forth, a 15th century fortress shaped like a stone ship. Originally a noble residence, it later became a stronghold and state prison, with views toward the Forth Rail Bridge and the shores of Fife. At the helix near Falkirk, two massive horsehead sculptures rise from the landscape. The Kelpies are 30-meter-high steel structures by artist Andy Scott, completed in 2013 near the Forth and Clyde Canal. They are the world's largest equine sculptures, inspired by Scotland's industrial heritage and the Clydesdale horse. The site includes a visitor centre and surrounding parkland with walking and cycling paths. Duncansby Head, near John O'Groats, marks the northeastern tip of mainland Scotland. A 1924 lighthouse overlooks the cliffs, with a short walk leading to the Duncansby Stacks, sandstone sea stacks rising over 60 meters. In summer, the cliffs are home to seabirds, with views toward the Orkney Islands. Keiss Castle is a late 16th to early 17th century Z-plan tower house on a cliff edge overlooking Sinclair's Bay in Caithness. Built for George Sinclair, 5th Earl of Caithness, it was already recorded as ruinous by 1700 and later replaced by Keiss House around 1755. The castle is now a fenced-off, unstable ruin due to cliff erosion and is protected as a scheduled monument. It can be viewed from a nearby footpath starting at Keiss Harbour, about a 15-minute walk from the village. Near the site, underground concrete structures, often mistaken as part of the castle, are World War II coastal defense bunkers built to protect the northern coastline. Castle Sinclair Girnigoe is a spectacular cliffside ruin located about 3 miles north of Wick in Caithness. The site consists of 2 connected castles, Castle Girnigoe, dating from the 15th century, and Castle Sinclair, added in the early 17th century. Together, they formed the historic seat of the Clan Sinclair, Earls of Caithness. The castle played a role in clan conflicts, including a siege and capture in 1679, before eventually falling into ruin. Due to its exposed coastal position, parts of the structure have been lost to erosion over time. It has since been stabilized and is now a protected scheduled monument, with ongoing preservation led by the Clan Sinclair Trust. Today, it is open year-round with no entrance fee. Access is by a short 10 to 15-minute walk from the car park near Knoss Head Lighthouse, offering dramatic views over the North Sea. Urquhart Castle is one of Scotland's most iconic ruins, dramatically set above Loch Ness with over 1,000 years of history. A key medieval stronghold during the Wars of Scottish Independence, it later fell into ruin after being deliberately destroyed in 1692 to block Jacobite use. Today, visitors can explore highlights like the Grant Tower, the remains of the Great Hall and prison cell, and a full-size trebuchet replica. Stirling Castle is located in the heart of Stirling, surrounded by significant historical landmarks and attractions. Key nearby places include the National Wallace Monument, a short drive or bus ride away, the Old Town Jail, a 5-minute walk, and the historic Old Town area with its cobbled streets. You can also visit Cowane's Hospital or take a trip to the Battle of Bannockburn experience. The King's Knot and Queen's Knot are historic earthworks below Stirling Castle, created around 1627 to 1629 for Charles I as formal royal gardens. The King's Knot is an octagonal mound, while the Queen's Knot is a flat adjoining area. The site was later restored in 1867 and is sometimes linked to King Arthur legends. Today it is free to visit year-round, about a 15-minute walk from Stirling Castle, with the best views from the castle itself. Stirling Castle is one of Scotland's most important historic sites, serving as a royal palace and fortress for centuries. It sits on a volcanic crag overlooking Stirling and was a key residence for Stuart monarchs, including Mary, Queen of Scots. The castle played a major strategic role, controlling the River Forth, making it central to many battles during the Wars of Scottish Independence. Key highlights include the Royal Palace, restored to its 16th century appearance, the Great Hall built in 1503 by James IV, and the carved Stirling heads in the royal apartments. Doune Castle is a 14th century courtyard castle best known as a filming location for Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Outlander, and the Game of Thrones pilot, making it a popular stop for film and TV fans.
Here's the bird that never flew. Here's the tree that never grew. Here's the bell that never rang. Here's the fish that never swam. Let Glasgow flourish, may her spirit ne'er perish. Let Glasgow flourish, let my name flourish.
Glasgow is Scotland's largest city, where history, creativity, and energy meet in the streets. We explored the Glasgow Murals Trail, where massive painted walls turn buildings into open-air galleries. Each mural reflecting stories of culture and identity, the city feels like a living canvas. We arrived during something special, race day for the Great Scottish Run. Thousands of runners filled the streets, from elite athletes to everyday participants. Roads were lined with crowds, and the city became a continuous flow of movement and energy. Glasgow is known for its mix of historic architecture, cultural life, and modern energy. From grand Victorian buildings to lively streets and riverside walks, the city carries a strong sense of character and movement. Along the River Clyde sits the Riverside Museum, a striking modern museum home to historic vehicles and immersive, interactive displays that bring transport history to life. Perched on a rocky headland just south of Stonehaven, Dunnottar Castle rises above the North Sea, one of Scotland's most dramatic and iconic coastal ruins. The site stands about 160 feet above the sea, surrounded on three sides by steep cliffs, with access only along a narrow path from below, giving it a naturally formidable defense. The rock itself dates back around 440 million years to the Silurian period. This pudding stone conglomerate, made of pebbles bound in an exceptionally strong natural cement, has withstood time so well that fractures cut straight through the stones rather than around them. The name Dunnottar comes from the Pictish word dun, meaning place of strength, reflecting its enduring presence on this rugged coastline. First developed in the late medieval period, the castle became a stronghold of the powerful Earls Marischal. The surviving ruins date mainly from the 14th to 17th centuries, including the keep, chapel, stables, and the Whig's vault. Dunnottar also played a crucial role in Scottish history, safeguarding the crown jewels during the 1650s to protect them from Oliver Cromwell's forces, and has been linked to figures such as William Wallace and Mary, Queen of Scots. Within the Whig's vault, over 160 Covenanters were once imprisoned in harsh conditions for refusing to accept religious reforms under Charles II. Today, Dunnottar remains one of Scotland's most photographed landmarks, known for its dramatic setting and sweeping views over the North Sea. The Glasgow Necropolis is a Victorian cemetery on a hill beside Glasgow Cathedral, containing around 50,000 burials and reached by crossing the Bridge of Sighs. Glasgow Cathedral is a 12th century Church of Scotland parish church dedicated to St Mungo on Castle Street. It is the only medieval cathedral on mainland Scotland to survive the Reformation largely intact, with a 13th century crypt, the Blackadder Aisle, and St Mungo's tomb. It is also known for its post-war stained glass. St Andrews Castle is a coastal ruin overlooking the North Sea, once home to powerful bishops and known for its bottle dungeon and siege mine. St Andrews Cathedral was once the largest church in Scotland. Built from 1158 and dedicated in 1318, it was the center of the medieval Catholic Church in Scotland. It fell into ruin after the Reformation in 1559 and now remains a major historic site. Visitors can explore the ruins, museum, and climb St. Rule's Tower for views over the town and coastline. Founded in 1413, the University of St Andrews is Scotland's oldest university and one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the United Kingdom. It is consistently ranked among the top universities in the UK and is known for its academic excellence and research-led teaching. The university follows a flexible 4-year degree structure across 4 faculties: arts, science, medicine, and divinity. St Andrews is the home of golf, with 10 courses including the famous Old Course. A key landmark is the Swilcan Bridge on the 18th hole, an ancient stone bridge estimated to be 700 to 800 years old. Originally built for livestock, it is now one of golf's most iconic photo spots. Inverness, the capital of the Highlands, is the UK's northernmost city at the mouth of the River Ness. It is a base for exploring Loch Ness, Culloden Battlefield, and the North Coast 500. Key sites include Inverness Castle, the Victorian Market, and Leakey's Bookshop, with nearby attractions such as Clava Cairns and St Andrews Cathedral. During this part of the trip, we stayed in Fortrose at the Anderson. a coastal stay known for its food and quiet setting. Fortrose is a small town on the Black Isle with a calm coastal atmosphere. Nearby is Fortrose Cathedral, a peaceful historic site open to the landscape and sea. The Falkirk Wheel in Scotland is the world's only rotating boat lift connecting the Forth and Clyde Canal with the Union Canal and lifting boats 35 meters, 115 feet, between them. Opened in 2002, it replaced a series of 11 locks as part of the Millennium Link project to reconnect Scotland's canal network. It works using a perfectly balanced rotating mechanism with two counterweighted caissons that hold boats. As one rises, the other descends, using minimal energy, about 1.5 kilowatt-hour per rotation, roughly the energy needed to boil 6 kettles of water. Designed to last at least 120 years, it was built by Butterley Engineering and assembled on site from dozens of large components. Nearby, just 4 miles away along the towpath, are the Kelpies. During this journey through Scotland, we gathered fragments of time, small moments from a much larger story. But it was never only about where we went, it was about what remains. In the wind that moves across the coastlines, in the silence between ancient stones, in villages that seem to pause between centuries, Scotland lingers. From Culross to Fiddle Rock, from Blackness Castle to Doune Castle, Stirling Castle, Urquhart Castle, and Dunnottar Castle, each place feels like a memory carved into the landscape. Further north, Duncansby Head meets the sea. Ruins like Castle Sinclair, Girnigoe, and Keiss Castle hold on to what time is left behind. And in contrast, the Kelpies and the Falkirk Wheel stand as marks of something new. From Inverness to St Andrews to Glasgow, the journey unfolds like a moving echo. And maybe that's what stays with you, not just the places, but the feeling they leave behind. As this chapter gently closes, thank you for being part of it. See you next time.
Cold, and the air is feeling cold.